Good morning. How are you? This is Michelle with Dynamic Change. I hope your day is going fantastic. And today I'm going to do an extended guided meditation. And the meditation I want to do is going to work on removing blocks, energetic blocks in your body. So I'm excited for that, and you are listening to KPCA-LP in Petaluma, a free-range radio and TV station. This show is called Dynamic Change. It is a weekly show, and it's at 11 o'clock on Wednesdays, and I am a certified wellness coach, self-defense instructor, fitness trainer, and I have a degree in psychology. So I provide this show to give people so many different approaches to wellness, and I do a lot of psychological breaking down psychological patterns for people and how trauma can manifest in life. With sometimes we don't realize how we grew up and how that plays out with our behavior, how that plays out with our emotional blocks and everything. So this show is me breaking down those dynamics so people can understand, and they can understand how to work towards healing those traumas, emotional blocks that might be buried kind of deep. And so some techniques for that, therapeutic techniques, and then also new plans for new behavior. And so if you need more information on me, you can always go to my website. It's dynamicchangewellness.com. And you can always email me if you would like more topics discussed. And so the way to email me, you'll find it on the website, but it's dcwellness88 at gmail.com. dcwellness88 at gmail.com. So within all these shows, basically I cover a lot of different topics, and I will discuss sometimes how to realize there might be something that you could free up in relation to that particular topic, to whether it's fear, whether it's issues around communication or intimacy, and I'll break it down psychologically and also how it lives in your body somatically. So when I talk about somatic experience, I'm talking about how our stress, our feelings, your emotional baggage gets stored in your body. So what's really important about understanding how things get stored in our body is that if things sit in our body for 20, 30 years, like it just sits in there, like anger, resentment, stress, a particular trauma, your body, your cells in your body have memory, and they store trauma and stress and these things. They live actually in your body. It's not like the emotional body's separate. It is all contained within your being, and it affects the well-being of the physical body. So it's not just our emotional body that may feel stress, or our mind may feel stress. It's also impacting your physical experience. And a lot of times I think we don't realize that until we have something kind of happen where we're more, maybe we become ill, or we become easily injured, because the stress wears down your whole physical well-being. So that stuff that has been stored, after a long period of time, it is eventually going to have a wearing down effect on your overall health and well-being. So that's why I talk a lot about meditation, breathing, doing techniques that allow us to feel what is sitting in our bodies, allows it to come up. And that's why I make up these imaginary stories with imaginary people to give examples of real life common stuff that can just manifest from trauma, can manifest from particular abuse patterns in the childhood, and just so there's a lot of understanding, and and giving you tools of how to approach that and heal that and get help, get the support you need. And so this is so valuable for your well-being, so valuable for your health, and really living your life, and really the quality of your life. So that's what we are doing. And today I am so excited. And you can do this with me. So today what we're going to be doing is an extended guided meditation where I'm going to show you how you can actually, it takes practice, but I'm going to guide you through how you can work on going inward through a guided meditation that we're going to do today, that you can do with me. You can do it with me now. You can get really comfortable. You could sit down in your favorite chair. You could lay down on the floor on a yoga mat. You could lay down in your bed. But what you can do is get comfortable, and I'm going to show you how to breathe and kind of go inward into the body. And we're going to go into all the different energy places in the body and talk about what could be stored there. So we have energy that runs through our body. So even Western medicine at this point and psychology at this point is really acknowledging that we do have this energetic system within our body. Now, your energetic system does tie into your emotional body. Okay, so I'm just going to call it emotional body. And your emotions, that's why meditation is so beneficial, is when you work on deep breathing, which is one of the bases, like the base of meditation. How you get into that state is by breathing deeply. And when you start to breathe deeply, it starts to quiet your mind. And I do recommend also for people a lot, if meditation is hard for you, I'm a big Tai Chi person. I studied it for quite a while, and Qigong, which is like Tai Chi but simpler. Qigong is spelled Qi, one word, second word Gong, Gong. So often when I teach classes and I teach meditation, or even if I'm teaching like a movement class, I will use Qigong techniques, which are like Tai Chi but even simpler, and it's just like a deep breathing matched with really simplistic movement. When you do that, it becomes a moving meditation. So meditation, if you just sit down and people are like, okay, now I'm all of a sudden going to meditate, what I hear from people is often their mind is so busy that is a tall order to try and just all of a sudden have a quiet mind. So I often teach some movement with the deep breathing, and when you breathe like that, so I will mention that today as we do this guided meditation of how you can stand up and also do it. I will remain seated, but I will describe this to you. And if you're watching the show that I upload later to my YouTube channel, which is Michelle Love with Dynamic Change and Wellness, you can watch it also there later on. But I will describe how to do movement that will allow you to deepen that space of the mind being relaxed and in that meditative state. When you're in that state, that is so beneficial for the systems of the body. So the resting state of your body, where your body is relaxed and then it is taking care of your organs. It's doing all these automatic things. We're breathing and circulation, and all these things happen. So when you relax your body through meditation and relax your mind, it is going to help release the stress level, the tone of your tissue. So the tone quality is something in in the health field, it can be used to describe the quality of tension that is being held in your tissue. So when you go into a meditative state and do that deep breathing, it can help relax that base holding of the body. So when we're really holding a lot of tone and a lot of tension, a lot of stress, it's all bound up. The shoulders may be up by your ears. Your stomach may feel stressed out and tight, or maybe your chest is tight because you have all these things sitting on your heart, and you're like, wow, I went through a lot of grief. I just had someone die. So the body registers this, and you can really see it with people's body language. So I've worked a lot with physical therapists, and as a fitness trainer, I specialize in injury, and I have worked a lot with how people are carrying things in their body, and that's one of the things I educate on. So you can really see how people are holding on to just a base level of stress within their body, and the way we can let that stress go is through exercise, through going in nature helps quite a bit. Deep breathing and meditation helps calm all the internal systems of the body and helps to quiet the mind. And so there's these ways of relaxation and different techniques to calm everything down. And meditation is one of the cheapest go-tos that you can utilize that will help bring the stress level down, not only in your physical experience, what you're carrying around with you all day, and that will also calm down the emotional experience and then the mental experience. So the mind is, thinking about a lot of things, and the body is just carrying this amount of emotional baggage, stress, mental thoughts, and all these things that can get bound up in our body and cause physical dysfunction later. The emotional dysfunction is, I think, enough to try to process and can be kind of like a burden, right? If we're holding in a lot of stuff that has been very painful, but physically it also holds this tension. So this tension, this stress, and it can result later on in wearing down the body, because that tension will pull on your joints, that muscle tissue when it's tight. As a fitness trainer, I work a lot with people in tuning into what's going on. But if they are stressed out and their body is holding, their muscles are holding on really tight, what it does is it's going to start pulling on joints. It's going to start pulling the shoulders in this weird place where it can result in the shoulder feeling kind of impinged if it goes on forever. The neck tension can cause headaches. The clenching of the jaw can cause migraines. I mean, there's these things, if we hold our emotions in our stomach forever, we could end up with an ulcer. So not to be like a bummer and say these horrible things that could happen, right? I'd rather say, let's acknowledge my stress pattern that I have and work towards healing it, so I prevent all these things. And it doesn't mean they have to happen, but I have worked with the body for over 30 years, and I've worked in this in mental health for 7 years. I have worked with people and their expression of how they express that stress, whether it was emotionally in mental health situations, physically in their bodies, working in alignment with physical therapy centers, working as a fitness trainer. I've worked a lot with how all of this stuff lives within our being. And you can prevent and heal so much in your body. and in your mind and in your heart and in your emotions. But it does take time and attention and being very intentional and mindful about making that a focus in your life. So what we're going to do today is this extended guided meditation. Again, my name is Michelle Love. This show is Dynamic Change. You are listening to KPCALP in Petaluma, a free range radio station. And so what we're going to do is you can sit down and get comfortable, or you can lay down. You could lay down even in your bed, lay down on a yoga mat, but be comfortable. It'd be nice if you're wearing something comfortable. And if I'm sitting in a chair, I like to have my feet resting on the floor. And I will be discussing I'm going to take you through a guided meditation of how to tune into the different energy centers of the body. We're going to talk about how you can kind of check in with your body. Sometimes people are more able to do that more easily, but what you want to do is trust what comes up. So if you're doing deep breathing and I'm telling you to sense what you're feeling, just trust it. We have this, we know ourselves the best out of anybody. And we live in these bodies, and we know how we emotionally feel. Sometimes it's hard to figure out where that where they come from, where the pattern started, or sometimes things are very subconscious. So that means your conscious mind can't quite articulate it, but your subconscious mind, has all that information, which means you might have dreams. It might come up in dreams, or it gets played out. The subconscious content will get played out within our behavior, which it happens to all of us. And we might be able to recognize that there is some behaviors that if we changed them, we'd have more happiness and wellness in our lives. So when I do these guided meditations, I'm showing you ways you can start tuning into what may be stored that you're not aware of, that might be kind of stuffed down within your body, and show you a way to tune into that. So if you get a feeling, if you get all of a sudden an idea that pops into your mind that feels kind of emotionally based, or if there was an event. So sometimes, like with trauma, there could have been this particular thing that happened that was a lot to process, and maybe it never really got processed from the childhood. That stuff comes up, and so the way you can start tuning into that and realizing that is if you do deep breathing, you're like, oh wow, what all of a sudden just comes to my mind is when my grandmother died. I was so close to my grandmother, and that was so difficult for me, and maybe it never got fully processed. So you got to trust whatever comes up. So often it's a little bit like a mystery puzzle. Sometimes we don't know what we're holding on to. It could be it could be like a parental thing. Like, I'm always worried about my kids. It could be that. So someone could be holding something about their children, about their, trying to carry the emotional burden for people. That's a very common thing. If you're kind of a emotional fixer for other people, and that will wear you out. So carrying worry, concern, stress for other people isn't good for your health. I've done shows about empowering those people and seeing them as powerful, and let them do their own work, because that will make them stronger, more effective in life, and then take care of your own health. So sometimes we have all of a sudden people that will come to mind that we really care about, or something really intense happened with them, there was a trauma, whatever. But whatever pops up for you is what you want to pay attention to. And later, after the show, or when you can, you could also journal about the experiences of what comes up for you in within that going inward. Trust whatever comes up. You could even journal it as we're doing this. You could have a notebook out. So if you want, you could do that now. You could grab a piece of paper, a pen, have that available, and just jot down what came up. And you can go to it later. But this is how you start accessing and understanding what you may have sitting in your body that needs to be attended to, so you can have more wellness and happiness and joy and release emotional blocks, so you can bring in these new fresh behaviors and healthy patterns, healthy boundaries, so you can attract what you want in your life, so you can have ease in your life, so you can have peace, so you can have good health, you can laugh and just have happiness. So that's why we're doing this today. So get comfortable. Do this with me now. You can put your feet on the floor. You can lay down on the floor, however you want to recline. And since I'm sitting, I like to put my palms up on my thighs, feet on the floor, and legs, you don't want them crossed, because when you cross them, it does interrupt kind of the flow of our energy, right? So we're going to breathe in. So you can do this with me now. Let's take 3 very deep breaths, breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth. Here we go. Breathing in. Exhaling fully. Breathing at your breath pace, not mine. Breathing as deeply as you can and exhaling fully, letting it all out. Breathing deeply. And releasing. One more deep breath. And releasing. Last breath. Now this time, as you continue to breathe deeply, now if you stood up, what you would do, we're going to do a couple breaths as if you were standing, so I'll kind of stand. So you would inhale, bring your arms and hands up, exhale, keeping the knees slightly bent. So when I do this, I have my feet like shoulder width apart, knees are slightly bent to help the energy flow more easily, and I inhale and I almost straighten the legs, not fully, so inhale. Exhale, let the arms float down with the exhale as you feel like you sink into the ground a little bit. So we inhale, you kind of pull up. Exhale, release. And I usually let my body move a little bit with it, whatever feels comfortable. So inhale, let my body move. Exhale, let it release. So that's how I do it when I'm moving. There's a little bit of free flowing movement when I inhale and when I exhale. And I move my arms with it, with the breath. Arms come up on the inhale, exhale, arms come down. So now we're going to do 3 more deep breaths. And when you exhale, imagine, some people feel it, but imagine with your mind that your energy just kind of drops out of your body. And you can visualize like white light energy, or sometimes I like a little denser feeling energy. So like sometimes I do kind of a gray coming out of my feet. And then once you get the feet to feel, and you'll feel, if you feel energy, you'll actually feel like a drop, like you feel a little bit heavy all of a sudden. And you imagine it going out your feet, the soles of your feet, from your body into the earth, and you grow roots. And this allows you to be really present, really in your body. It helps calm you down emotionally too. So if you have anxiety, this is very helpful. And then we're going to do the feet, and once you feel like you can envision that, or you feel it, imagine just your energy going out your feet and growing roots into the earth. Then you also do the same thing, dropping it out the tailbone. Your tailbone is the bottom vertebrae of your spine, and dropping that energy into the earth. So that's what we're going to do now. You can do this with me now. Palms up if you're sitting down. If you're standing up, move your arms as you do it, and use your breath to guide your energy, and whatever your mind believes, your energy is going to do. Okay, so deep breath in. And exhale, imagine dropping that energy out your feet and growing roots. Inhale. And exhale. Again, breathe at your breath pace, not mine. I will continue to say that to encourage you to remember to keep breathing, but go at your pace for inhale and exhale. So inhaling deeply, exhaling fully, releasing that breath, releasing the energy from the feet, grounding into the earth. And then now, if you haven't already, go drop the energy out the tailbone, growing roots into the earth from the tailbone. Breathing deeply. Two more deep breaths. And then continuously working on that deep breathing. You can have your eyes open or closed. And as we breathe in, I'm going to have you tune into, so they're referred to as chakras, the energy centers in the body. And so this is mindful techniques. These belief systems are originally from India, but you'll find them throughout many spiritual places on the planet, where they do talk about the energy that flows through the body. So with Chinese medicine, they talk about the Dantian, which is where the second chakra is, and about this flow of energy that's kind of like the life force of your body. And acupuncture, acupressure works with the energy in the body and the lines of energy in your body called meridians. And so and even Western medicine is starting to embrace more and more meditation practices, acupuncture, and wellness that is leaning into and learning from holistic medicine, which I was fortunate enough to have a lot of exposure to from a young age. Since I was 18 or so, I've worked around herbologists, Chinese herbologists. I've worked with quite a few acupuncturists and physical therapists, and all these different type of approaches to having more wellness within our system of our being and our body, and how you can approach the energetics in the body. So I've also worked with a neurologist before. I've worked with 11 different physical therapists, I think 3 acupuncturists and herbologists. And so I've had a lot of opportunity to learn from different approaches. And so the energy is a real thing. And I think it took a while for Western medicine to really embrace that knowledge, but it is a real thing. And so when I talk about these things, it really is a good mindful practice to tune in these ways, because it's part of how we are made up. So as we breathe in, we're going to go into the first chakra, which is at the base of your spine, the base of the tailbone. So taking some deep breaths. And we already feel grounded into the earth. And one more breath. So just tuning into, imagine with your mind going into your body at the base of your spine where the tailbone is, the pelvic floor if you do yoga. And so the emotional content that is related to this area of the body is safety. So if we have emotional challenges with feeling safe, feeling provided for, feeling like these are like money concerns are held in this body, this part of the body. So feeling safe, money concerns, feeling like you have materially what you need in the world, feeling your connection to what I like to call like the tribe, your family, your close people, your extremely close friends, people that are your family or feel like your family. These are the type of feelings and emotions and concerns that this is where they live in our body. So breathing into that part of your body, see if you can notice anything there. Does it feel tense? Is there someone that pops into your brain? Is there a worry, concern that sits there? So let's breathe into that part of our body. Notice what comes up. You can write it down if you like. And then the color, there's a color that corresponds to this particular chakra in the body. It's called the first chakra. And it's supposed to be like a beautiful ruby red. So if you are able to actually all of a sudden intuitively feel or see a color, sometimes you can tell, oh, it's murky there. I have a lot of stress with those issues that I mentioned, right? So then sometimes we can see the energy. I'm very sensitive to energy, so I sometimes will get a visual, or I feel it in my body. So it just depends. And even if you don't see or feel it, it doesn't matter. We know ourselves, so you will know what kind of stress you tend to hold on to related to this area of your body. So again, whatever you visualize in your mind, just this is like believing in, creativity, and that things are possible. So this is like creative writing with your mind and your belief systems. Just believe it is possible. Believe that it you can tune into this, and whatever your mind believes, it allows it to be true for this healing practice. So if you see energy, you can see how the energy is moving. It's like a ball of energy, like a pinwheel. You know those pinwheels when you were a kid, you blow on it and go, and it would spin, right? It's like that. It's a ball of energy that spins at the base of your spine. So that's what we're doing here. So tune into the base of your tailbone. If you see a color, see how bright the color is, if it's murky, if it's not even red. And the idea is, I used to always imagine spinning it almost with my hands, like a top on the table. You spin it to get it to move. You could imagine spinning it. It doesn't matter the direction, but you could spin it. You could imagine blowing on it. You could imagine with your mind just moving it. But it's like this ball of light, of energy, that you want to move in that part of your body, and you want to move it and make it this beautiful, vibrant red. And when we are vibrant and moving in that chakra, your money's going to be easier. Your attracting abundance is going to be easier. Feeling safe is going to be easier. You're going to be empowered in these ways. Seeing your family is safe, seeing them as empowered, and that they can find the help they need if you're worried about someone in your tribe. These are all the things that we're going to work on right here. So breathing into that part of your body, see the colors spinning really beautiful red. And if you come up with some things that you realize you're holding that are stressful, that you want to let go of, in your mind just say, I see that person as empowered if you're worried about somebody. I see just money coming to me easily, and I don't even know how it's coming, but I just see this wonderful thing coming that is just going to be like, help me pay all those bills. Maybe I need to see just this flow, see a flow with your mind. Often I will visualize energy coming to me that's just beautiful and golden. It just comes to me, and it allows this flow of just abundance, of energy, of health, of well-being. And I'll put the focus sometimes, if I'm like, I need to generate more money in my life, I'll see, okay, money is coming to me, abundance is coming to me, ease and peacefulness is coming to me, and all the bills are all of a sudden paid. Wow. And so let's just see whatever you want. Sometimes you see a new job, you're not sure what it's going to be, but it's kind of free form. Don't make it too exact, because you don't want to block anything that could be something you hadn't thought of that could come to you to create all this abundance, this ease, this happiness, this safety. Okay? So breathing in, you can imagine these solutions, this gold wonderfulness coming to you just from the universe, from life. If you're religious, spiritual, whatever works for you, you can see it coming from God, whether you call it from the universe, whatever spirituality, religion you may have, or even if it's just scientific, coming from just good energy from the universe. It doesn't matter. You do what resonates with you. But see this goodness coming to you, and you're healing this part of your body, moving the energy, see it spinning, allowing this goodness to find you and to bathe you in such positivity, bringing this golden energy like it comes in the top of your body, washes the inside of your body, the outside of your body, like a shower of goodness. And then it settles down in that first chakra area where you're spinning that ball of energy, this beautiful, vibrant red. One more breath. And then what we want to really instill in that part of our body is abundance. So spin it a beautiful red and put in some thoughts of what you want sitting there. See people safe in your family, see yourself as safe. Decide what kind of thoughts and feelings you want to put in there. And it's like a mantra. I'm going to put in, I am safe. I'm going to put in there the belief that I have all the abundance that I need and could ever want. I have just this safety in the world, safety in my home, in my body, and I have everything I could possibly need. So then you breathe in and just put those feelings, ideas, those thought processes into your body, into that beautiful red. Breathing in and release. And releasing any of the old stuff as you exhale out the feet, out the tailbone into the earth. One more breath. And often I'll just see the old just leaving the body, going out the feet. Now we're going to go to the second chakra. It's where the uterus is, or for a man, right below the belly button. And this should be an orange color. The things that we might hold there are issues around intimacy, sexuality, how we feel about ourselves as a man or a woman or whatever we identify as, and basically also creativity and creating things in our lives. So tune into that part of your body and just see, do I feel good about myself, or do I, tend to have negative self-talk? Do I feel like things are stagnant in my body? Have I had trauma around intimacy or sexuality? What do I have sitting there? So go in, breathing in. Do this with me now, breathing in. Notice what may be sitting there. You could write it down. One more breath. And once you've kind of taken notice of what's there, work on releasing that with your breath. Write it, jot it down for later if you want, but you want to spin that ball of energy, just like I said before, to this beautiful, vibrant, luscious orange. So breathing in, spinning the energy in that part of our body. You can feel it inside your body. Sometimes people, it's easier if they visualize it like sitting right in front of their body. So either way, but breathing in, and we leave the bottom one, the first chakra, spinning. Try to keep them all spinning as we do this. If not, just do one at a time. Either way is wonderful. Breathing in, making it a beautiful, vibrant, luscious orange, and breathing in creativity, breathing in feeling good about yourself sexually, breathing in feeling empowered as whatever, whether you're a masculine or a feminine person, breathing in this beautiful, vibrant inspiration for your life, creativity, seeing magical things coming to you in your life that just make you feel inspired, that just give you passion in life. So breathing that in and releasing anything that needs to release out the feet of your tailbone as you breathe. Breathing in, spinning that beautiful color. And then moving up to the power center, which is just center of your body right above your belly button. And this is about how we express our personal power. So if you have issues with feeling controlled, if you grew up being very controlled in the family dynamic, or you feel like you give your power over to people, or it's hard for you to stand up for yourself, so just control issues will sit there in our body. And when those are in the way, It's hard for us to be fully in our own power, and we want to be in our power to manifest what we need in our lives, say what we need to say, to stand up for ourselves, to have healthy boundaries, and to feel safe and have that power for ourselves in a really healthy way. So tuning in to that part of your body, breathe in. Notice what is sitting there. You can write down if you want, or just take note of what you feel. Does it feel constricted? Does it feel stressed out? Do people pop into your mind, like you give over power to people, or you sacrifice, make yourself small for others? See what's sitting there. Breathing deeply. And so if someone pops into your brain and you realize that you give over your power to them, imagine taking that power back to yourself. I imagine burning up any connections I have to people. Just I put fire between me and that person. Just burn up the negativity, let it go. And then just really decide to hold on to your energy. Do not let it leak out to other people. See them as powerful, that they can handle themselves, and you don't have to sacrifice your energy for other people. See that you are empowered and you can make those strong vocal boundaries for yourself, make those strong decisions, decide, I'll feel more in my power if I maybe take this path I've been considering that is very nurturing and takes care of myself. Sometimes we need to actually seal off our energy because we've been leaking for so long. So if you come across the feeling that you have been leaking energy, or you feel kind of like people have been sucking you dry, that is a thing, I'm sorry. The energy vampire thing is a real thing. People that are come from a real victim space, a really needy space, a really narcissistic space, pull on our energy. So sometimes I put it like an imaginary shield, like something kind of earthy, or like a shell or something, and not steel or anything like that, but something kind of organic feeling. I would put this like shield, like maybe a medieval shield, right, made out of wood or something like that. You can put that in front of the chakra and the back of the chakra, and imagine putting a little crystal in there to guard it. You can do stuff like that. And these visualizations, even if they feel kind of too new agey for you, they can be really quite effective. So being open-minded to it, and maybe think of it more of a mindful approach. They're good to play around with. They're not going to hurt you to play around with if it's not normally what you would be considered doing. But anyway, it is a technique you can do. So just see what you find. Acknowledge that maybe if there's something you need to work on with somebody. And so we're going to spin that energy now, a golden color, breathing in and exhaling. Breathing in and exhaling, and really spin it a beautiful golden color. And then we're going to move up, and again, always put a shield in front of chakras where you're like, wow, no, I picked up on something big there, and it's going to take me a while to deal with that. That's okay, but shielding it, good idea. Okay, same way, front and back. And now move up to your heart chakra. This has to deal with grief. So when people die, when we've had an intense betrayal, heartbreak, this is where it's going to sit. And anger can really sit here. This can cause, when we have heart attacks and stuff, that stress, that anger, that constriction, it constricts your heart. We want to heal that, open that up. So let's spin that, tune into your heart. It should be a green color. So if you go in there and you pick up grief, you pick up stress, acknowledge it. And realize, take note, that's something you want to work on. So breathing in, spinning the energy in your heart, breathing in, Releasing any negativity out through the bottom of the feet and the tailbone. Breathing in. And releasing. And then welcoming in joy, love. Say, I'm going to attract joy and love and just this ease in my life and laughter and good things, loving myself, having a good connection with the people I love, healthy boundaries. Breathe that intention into your heart. Spin it a beautiful green, a forest green. Spinning the energy, breathing in and exhaling. And again, you can revisit this meditation because I'm moving at a pace that you might want to go slower. So keep practicing with me in the future if this really resonates with you. Going to the heart or from the heart to the throat. This is a cobalt blue color. I find a lot of times we have tightness in our throat when we hold back what we need to say. If we have a hard time confronting people, expressing ourselves, asking for what we need, this can feel tight. And so see what you have sitting there. So breathe in. And exhaling. Breathing in. And exhaling. It should be a cobalt blue. And just release any patterns that you feel may be sitting there. And bring in not only this beautiful color of cobalt blue to be spinning and flowing there, but give yourself permission. You want to program these parts of your body with new good stuff, right? So we want to program in, I'm going to say this the next time, I have this pattern come up with this person that's always been there maybe. And I'm going to stand up for myself and I'm going to say this because it's important. It will make me feel in my power, make me have boundaries with this person. This is really vital that I start speaking up and I say what I believe, what I know is important to me, and don't hold back anymore. So give yourself permission, program that part of your body. So we're going to breathe in, spin that energy, and put whatever you want there in regards to communication. Breathing in. Breathing in deeply, releasing anything that feels like an old pattern, old energy, anything that feels stuck. And letting it drain out the bottom of the feet. One more breath. And then moving up to this is considered like the third eye. So it's an intuitive place of the body. So this is when you kind of just get intuitive knowings. It's like a sparkly color, like a indigo kind of purpley blue color with sparklies. So it spins in your forehead. So breathing in. So this is like often if we're afraid to see something, we're like, oh, something bad could come up. I don't want to see this, or I was super intuitive as a kid and I shut it down because I saw things that really felt uncomfortable. So, and it's just inner knowing. Sometimes people are more intuitive, but allowing yourself to see, because we all have varying levels of intuition. When this is open, it allows you to easily see to be guided by that inner knowing. And that's really powerful. So even if you're not really into intuition very much, just know that your inner guidance is so profound and important. And so this is a place where you can help get in tune with that. So let's breathe into that part of our forehead and exhale. Breathing in and exhale. Breathing in and exhale. And then spin it a sparkly color, releasing anything that feels like it could be, negative or congested, holding in stress. And then breathing in to the top, the last chakra. This one sits as like a record, and we all remember the records, right? So it spins flat, and this is violet, and this is your connection to whatever you believe in. The universe, if you're like a scientific person, just the energy of the universe. If you're really spiritual, and whatever you call your spirituality, it could be God, you know, it can be Buddha, it can be whatever you're into, right? So this, you want to spin that, and it should be a violet color. So spinning that, tuning into anything that might be sitting there that needs to be addressed. Breathing in, breathing in deeply. Last time, breathing in. And spinning it a beautiful violet. And now I want you to imagine this chakra to be open. The top of your head's open. And we're going to bring in this really, really great energy from whatever you believe in. It can just be good energy from nature, from, you know, the universe, you know, from the atmosphere of the earth, from spirituality, from, if you believe in God, if you believe in angels, whatever it is. But we're going to breathe in this beautiful energy from above. It's going to come into the top of the head, down through the body. I'm going to make it golden. It's going to go through my whole inside of my body, and it's going to just bathe and cleanse and help release any old residue. You can also do this at the beginning of the meditation, and then it's just going to go through the body and out the feet and just flush everything. So breathing in, bringing it down, doing this with me now. Again, breathing in, bringing it down. And one more time. Really grounding into the earth. And again, you could have done this whole meditation standing up if you wanted. And at this point, you can put a last, like a shield of energy around you, whatever is your favorite color. Bring it in tight around your body and fill it with the same color of energy, with the mindset that only the most positive energy is allowed into your space, your energetic space. You can do that at the beginning of the meditation. Also, that's a really good time to do it. And do it at the end, but kind of seal everything up in your bubble, and just put the filter that the only things allowed into your energetic space, your emotional space, is for your highest good. That is so positive, so loving, so kind. And so we're not gonna even connect or bother with things that are not of that high quality. So I hope you have enjoyed this meditation. I am so grateful to be able to share it with you. I'm going to read about one of our shows that we have here at KPCALP in Petaluma. And so you can tune into this other show. It's called Live Crashing Headfolds. And it's on Thursdays from 9 to 11 p.m., hosted by Mona. Live Crashing Headfolds is a weekly radio program playing all forms of experimental music, from academic and fine art down to home taped noises and industrial crud. 2 hours of music and its opposites. Bring your own questions and leave with new ones. So that sounds very intriguing. Mona's show sounds like it's very fun. And so you can tune into that show. This show is called Dynamic Change. It's a weekly show. My name is Michelle Love. It is on Wednesdays from 11 to 12. Again, you can go to my website for all the things I teach. It is dynamicchangewellness.com. You can email me from the website. You can also go to my YouTube channel for all the shows that I do. The YouTube channel is Michelle Love with Dynamic Change and Wellness. And today we did a guided meditation to help clear emotional blocks and stress in your body, and showing you how you can kind of cleanse it on a meditative level. And I really appreciate having this time to meditate with you today. I often include meditation within my shows. This was an extended one. I hope your day is amazing. Enjoy your day. Thank you for tuning in. Take care. Bye-bye now.